Trump hid in a catering cart. I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to say than that, and that it's really funny. But before we get into that, I actually need to show you guys some fan art. This is a custom painted Suris mini that was painted by Valis of Seraph. There's actually a handful of pictures on the Discord featuring this little guy. And for those who don't know, this actual 3D printed Suris was designed by our very own, very corrupt, very fucked up Stoff, who just told me to wet myself, which normally means a hydrate, but at the same time it is Stoff, so I'm sure that they've already imagined some weird porn where that meant something completely different. The ear fluff looks like dicks. Oh my god, the ear fluff does look like dicks. That ear fluff does look like dicks. But yes, this is actually the model that Stoff made. I printed off a ton of these because my test print for any new filament that I get is actually just this model. I print this thing anytime I have new filament because I want to test the filament, and then I display the Suris somewhere in the house. So, also, these things suck to step on. Trust me. That sucks. That sucks when that happens. Said, I'm a socialist, but even I don't like nationalization. Yeah, I don't either. Said, I'm glad my Suris slime can be your Benchy. It is my Benchy. It is functionally my Benchy. I don't make Benchies. I make slime Surises. But I've actually been debating on whether or not I should use those Surises for something else, maybe sell them as merchandise. They are 3D printed, so recognize that you are getting something. You can see the layer lines on there. You would be getting something 3D printed, not resin printed, and for painting's sake, that can sometimes be a problem. But, I don't know, let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll see. But I adore seeing this thing painted. I actually got a chance to hand this to Valis directly, and I'm happy I did, seeing how it turned out. That all said, thank you very much for your fan art submission. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, please drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. That said, let's get right into this. Trump hid in a catering cart to board secret flight in Turkey amid Iran threat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this right off the bat. It is normal to fear for your life. Also, you missed a redeem. Sorry, I see that I missed a redeem. Axo, thank you for redeeming your points for an awol. Calder, thank you for redeeming your points for an ada. You fucking degenerate. Oh, I see what you. I see what it is. Tasha, why the fuck did you? Okay, I see. I see how it is. I enable these things again, and you use them to torture me. Tasha, fuck you.
Oh well.
There, you got your thing. Anywho. I'm trying to make fun of the United States president. Why are you making me say weird words? Right after a bunch of people came into the stream and just said they nutted to my voice and my model. I want off of this reality. I want gone. Anyways, prompted by an Iranian assassination threat, I don't want gone that way. That would be bad. That would mean that I don't get to eat pizza anymore. And, I mean, after all, that is a good reason to keep on living. I like pizza. I want to eat more of it. Prompted by an Iranian assassination threat, Donald Trump departed on a secret military flight from Turkey last month when the White House said he was flying aboard Air Force One in an extraordinary ruse that involved hiding the president in an airport catering cart, according to reporting from the Washington Post and the New York Times. The operation took place when Trump was in Ankara for a NATO summit with world leaders, according to the Post. The president reportedly boarded the old Air Force One jumbo jet in view of television cameras, and then was secretly shuttled minutes later to a smaller plane via an airport catering truck, typically used to load meals and other supplies pre-flight, a U.S. official told the Post. I feel like pointing this out just makes it easier to do assassination attempts later. But I guess they just wanted to brag about how cool their security measure was done. Jets. God fucking damn it!
Oh, whoa.
There, you've got another one. Is the cooldown really only 5 minutes? Fuck me, Jesus. Technically, this is kind of, that's... I feel like explaining this being like, aha, and these are the tactics that we use to prevent an assassination, only means that you added into the repertoire of things that will be checked for in an assassination attempt down the road? I don't know. Feels like you doing the braggart thing for no good reason. And the fight, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. And the hydrate towel, I appreciate that greatly. I do. Here's the secret plan route, guys. An official also confirmed the operation to the New York Times. The Guardian has reached out to the White House and the U.S. Department of Defense for comment. Trump's actual location was concealed from journalists and some White House staff members. Well, of course, that's going to happen. A U.S. official told the Post that a credible threat to Trump involving Iran set the deception operation in motion. And then they proceeded to tell us all about it. So it will be less effective in the future. Okay. Sure. The administration had previously claimed that Trump left Turkey on the 8th of July on the former Air Force One. The president had also announced on Truth Social that he would use the former Air Force One rather than the plane that flew him there, a new Boeing 747-8 gifted by Qatar. Of course. That's the plane that we shouldn't have had gifted in the first fucking place. Okay. The trip to NATO was the first international travel for the new plane, whose speedy upgrades triggered questions over its cost and security, and took place as hostilities escalated with Iran, which borders Turkey. Before departing Ankara, Trump said on True Social that he would use an older baby blue Air Force One plane for old time's sake to RAF Mildenhall in Britain, while the new plane stopped at the same base so the U.S. service member stationed there could tour the aircraft. After Trump boarded the old Air Force One in front of cameras in Ankara, he was secretly shuttled to a smaller plane, Air Force C-32A. The Post reported citing a U.S. official familiar with the operation and corroborating material it reviewed. Again, I feel like by pointing this out, all you're doing is increasing the likelihood that you're going to get attacks on anything that leaves a location where the president has walked into, thereby endangering the lives of the service members and or civilians in the immediate area. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking this. And maybe I'm trying too hard to keep the president of the United States safe. Lord knows there are ways in which the current situation could be improved. But after Trump boarded the old Air Force One in front of cameras, we already went over that, the deception operation was triggered by a credible threat to Trump. A similar operation took place in 2000 when Bill Clinton had an unmarked executive jet fly into Pakistan while sending his formal Air Force One as a decoy. On this occasion, the journalists who thought they were traveling with Trump in the older Air Force One reported being advised to keep their window shades on the press cabin closed. The Post said, aside from reporters, some White House staff also believed the president was on board. My God, this thing really wants me to play Riftbound. It really wants me to get the copy of Ari Inquisitive that I really want that I can't afford. And it really wants me to have this copy of Ari Inquisitive that I already own because I was lucky enough to pull it from a pack. And it wants me to have this copy of Lilia because she was my main during Unleashed. Okay. Sure. I guess. Oh, okay, cool. Is different advertisement. Search a database of millions of potential partners. Customize your program with AI. No. And go fuck yourself. When asked later by reporters why they had to keep their shades shut during the flight, Trump said it was because they were probably on a dangerous flight. He went on to say, but if I go, you go, right? The C-32A carrying Trump flew to Britain, arriving around 10:20 p.m. local, with an older Air Force One and media arriving minutes later. It was not clear how Trump was moved from the C-32A back to the older Air Force One, which he was seen disembarking. Trump's traveling press reported he climbed down the stairs of the older Air Force One. He gave press a peace sign, but didn't walk over to talk with them. He then spent some time in greeting service members before walking to the new Qatar-donated plane. When asked for comment on the revelation of a secret flight on a third plane, the White House provided a statement from Steve Chung, the communications director, saying the Qatari-donated jet had been fitted with high-level security protocols that ensured the safety of the president and his staff. Taglia says, so he has 3 to 4 planes in schedule. Noted. He loves dragging people down with him. Jesus Christ. Axo says Unleashed. Sonic mentioned? Not this time. As the president has said recently, There are many enemies of America who have their sights on him, and we use every tool at our disposal to address those threats. This is not surprising at all to me in the slightest. Again, no matter who the president was going to be, this is the type of thing that would be done to try to protect them. I think talking about it is a little silly, and maybe we shouldn't do that. John T says, if Qatar are the ones who did the security measures, Washington, we have a problem. I don't think it was them. I think literally after we took the plane, we started doing that ourselves with our own military. But yeah, if I'm being perfectly honest, that's my big gripe here. But the image of Trump being stuffed into a catering cart is really funny. And it makes me feel like somebody was giving him a swirly or ramming his head into a locker. And that's just a really, really appealing thought in general. But again, none of this is surprising. This is what would be done with any president to try to keep them safe amongst calls for an assassination. And remember, those calls for an assassination would be happening no matter what side of the political aisle the president was on. Trump is currently at war with Iran because he decided that his penis was small and he needed to pretend that it's not. And so, of course, they are going to be the ones calling for his assassination. But if it were Biden, then sure, I'm sure Russia would be the ones who wouldn't publicly call for it, but would be planning it. Same thing. In general. Also, he's had a lot of assassination attempts on him. PJ Blazer says, are tax dollars paid to strip the plane down and put it back again? Yerp. Yerp, yerp, yerp. But yeah, I originally didn't want to cover that, and then I realized that, just again, that image was really funny. So there we are. Thank you for the submission. I do appreciate it. And yeah, just the idea of Trump being jammed into a truck. Just, there's going to be art of it on the internet, I'm sure. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitt, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.